What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Steel City Muscle again. It's your boy Big Lou, here to bring you another informational, informative video. Today we're going to be talking about protein and alkalinity, being alkalized in the body. So let's start off because they go hand in hand. I'm explaining to you how. I'm going to try to make it not too boring and long and drawn out, but I want you to understand the facts and understand the importance of what I'm saying so that you can utilize the information. Information is meaningless without application. So I want you to be able to apply this information that I say, apply it to everyday life. So I'm gonna try to, be able to explain it so everybody across the board can understand what I'm saying. Basically, your body needs to be balanced on every level. The body wants to maintain what's called an equilibrium, like your heartbeat. When they say you flatline, you're dead. That's it. Everything stopped. Well, it's the same thing when you're alive, but your body wants to maintain a certain balance, certain levels of oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen, certain amounts of blood, certain amounts of white blood cells, red blood cells, certain amount of calories being burned per day, certain amount of nutrients it needs, certain amounts of detoxification it can do, a lot of tolerance that it has as far as allowing bad things to happen inside the body. So I want you to understand that. As far as alkalinity though, we're talking about there's a lot of electromagnetic energy that goes on in the human body. That's your real energy. Things that support that or supplement that would be, your food, your proteins, your carbohydrates, your fats, things that you nurture your body with. A lot of things that allow your body to maintain that equilibrium or to help improve it, because you actually have 6 processes that are working around the clock to try to balance your alkalinity. Now, the alkalinity of your food has a rating scale from 0 to 10. A normal alkalinity for an active person, usually around, 5.5, 6. A lot of your alkalinity is determined by your diet, and mainly fluids. Your body's 80% fluids. So your water that you consume will determine a huge effect on your alkalinity. And there's a big difference between the water. There's a difference between bottled water, tap water, pH balanced water, water with electrolytes. The thing about, taking pH balanced water, which a good example would be like Evian and Fiji. These waters they have a alkalinity rating of 10, and that's Evian and Fiji, which are the best waters for you. That's high in alkalinity, but here's the difference. Your body's already alkalinized. When you have something that's high that you consume in alkalinity and you consume it, you have to make sure that it doesn't interfere with other acids in the body. Like your stomach is full of acids. So I wouldn't drink a high alkalized water with my meal, because it's going to disrupt the stomach acids. So then the food that I consume, that my body works so hard to consume, I won't be able to digest. And if you can't digest it, then it's hollow food and it's irrelevant. It doesn't really help you. So that's just a small example of how, watching your alkalinity is important. So you want to find a water that would be right in the middle as far as alkalinity, but as pure as possible. Water with electrolytes is by far, to me, the best for you. As far as best for your body and maintaining alkalinity, nurturing the body with the electrolytes. Also, high alkalinized water with a meal is detrimental to your small intestines, where a lot of absorption happens. As far as, your stomach liquefies your food, it goes to the small intestines, and the villi in your small intestines absorb the nutrients. Well, anything that's too much acidic will destroy the villi in your small intestines. And that's what milk does. That's why milk is so bad. Milk is the highest alkalinized fluid that you can probably consume. So it's bad for helping for your body absorbing other nutrients. And I know you heard milk's so good and this and that, but you gotta understand, why are we drinking milk from another species? It makes no sense. If you go back to the principal purposes of milk, like what's the purpose of a woman's breast milk? It's to turn a baby human into an adult human and develop a heart, a strong brain, lungs, and other organs in the human body. Well, apply that to a cow. That milk is designed for a baby calf to turn into a full-blown cow. That's why a lot of people are, resistant to milk. They're lactose intolerant. You can't digest lactose if your body doesn't naturally produce enough lactase. And some people's bodies have evolved to be able to handle that, but not everybody. But there's other problems with milk. They add calcium to milk. It's added to it. And the reason why is because milk proteins will make your bones release calcium. So they got to put it back. But the marketing behind it is they just tell you, oh, drink milk because it got calcium, strong bones. Well, that's half the story. Okay, so you heard it here first. Milk makes your bones release calcium, so they have to add calcium to it so that you can put that back. Okay, so also too is you want to focus on, you don't want water or anything that's too low acidic, because what will happen is then it can cause inflammation in the body, and the inflammation in the body not properly getting hydrated can cause a lot of deterioration in the body, and also be real arthritic, cause arthritis in between the bones and things. So you people who have problem with arthritis, make sure your alkalinity is balanced. Now, the best thing about being alkalinized, you can fix this problem in 2 weeks. 2 weeks easy. The best way to fix the alkalinity in your body is to stay away from acidic fruits and acidic foods and acidic drinks, and consume greens. Kale, spinach, and avocado are the top 3. They improve the alkalinity in your body to cater to the equilibrium, and that's what you want to maintain. So, and also too, when you're alkalinized, the benefits of it, and this is going to lead into the protein, that it purifies your blood. It makes your blood stronger. You produce more red blood cells, and your blood flow and blood circulation are increased. Everybody knows blood carries oxygen. Oxygen will help your muscles heal faster. It will also prevent inflammation, and it'll also cater to any kind of wounds and illnesses you may have, to help your body heal faster. It's going to make your immune system stronger when you're alkalinized, because what it does is it's kind of like putting, when you do an oil change, you take out the bad oil, you put in a good oil. Well, once that good oil's in, then every other function of that motor runs more smoothly. It's the same thing with the body. When it's alkalinized, all the other functions of the human body run smoothly, and there's less stress on your motor. So we want to focus on that, okay? So when I said you get more blood, it also is going to help you absorb more nutrients too. It's going to help more nutrients, better circulation, less acidic effect on your digestive tract, so your villi aren't damaged, so you absorb more nutrients. So then the nutritiously dense food that you do consume, you will be able to utilize better. Okay, and that goes down to protein too, because if your villi are there and they're active, they can attach to the amino acid strands of your protein, break them apart, suck in the nutrients, and get immediately into the bloodstream, which is going to have more blood cells. It's going to be stronger. It's going to circulate better throughout the human body. And that features skeletal tissue. What is skeletal tissue? That is muscle. All right, so let's get on to protein, because one thing about protein I think that people overlook, or they may not even care to mention, they focus on the things that are marketed, which are, on the labels of these protein powders and things like that, which are great. There's nothing wrong with that. But I want to tell you something about protein you might not know, and you might not have ever heard it. So you heard it here first at Steel City Muscle, okay? Protein is a phenomenal energy source. Phenomenal energy source, okay? Most of the foods that you consume, proteins, fats, carbs, are all energy sources in their own right, okay? And the way that you play with your diet is you got to remember, we're built similar to bears. Our body, when you give it too much energy, it's going to store it to use for later, because it doesn't know when later is. So it's going to store it to use it for later. So let's say if you're an active person, because this comes out from a question I got on Facebook, so this is why I'm replying to this one. I'm talking about protein today. How much protein should you consume? Well, the answer to that, the immediate answer to that would be this. I would answer you with a question. The question is what is your lifestyle? Are you a teenager? Are you a young kid? Are you a collegiate athlete? Are you a pro bodybuilder? Are you somebody who works a 9 to 5 in an office? You're not active that much, but you also want to maintain, or you just want to gain some more, you want to tone up a little bit more. What is your profile? Your profile is what determines your needs, your nutritional needs. That's what determines your protein, okay? And when I said protein is an energy source, here's how. I'm explaining to you how, okay? Whenever you want to tone up, maintain muscularity, that requires a certain amount of protein. But whenever you want to maintain that level of muscularity, but you want to lean out, so you say, oh, I'm carb sensitive, I don't get much fats in my diet, how does protein become an energy source? Well, what you do is you can go on the paleo diet, you can go on the Atkins diet, you can go on these low carbs. Because I'm going to say this one time, and I'm going to say it because I know nobody else is saying it. Carbs are not a necessity. They're not a necessity for human life. You can't go without water. You can't go without food. You really can't go without protein. You can't go without vitamins and minerals. Carbohydrates are not a necessity of the human body. Our bodies learn how to utilize them, yes, which means they can be given a purpose. That's the best thing about the human body. It's adaptability. Okay, so for an active person, yes, you're gonna say, "Oh, carbs, he's crazy. You need carbs." Yeah, because you go lift weights. You put resistance on the human body. This statement isn't for you. This statement is for the lady who sits at a desk in an office. She's a lawyer. She works 12 hours a day. She doesn't work out. She has no muscular tension on her body whatsoever. What is she gonna do with those carbohydrates? What is her body gonna do with it? Her body's going to store it. It has no purpose. If you sit down all day, you should not be consuming carbs. I don't care who you are, bodybuilder or not. You know, if you're an office person, you're not an active person, and you work out less than 2 days a week, you should not be consuming carbohydrates. Period. There's no purpose. But what you do is, if you do not consume carbohydrates on days that you're inactive, you switch your body's other energy sources. You make it result to other energy sources to stay alive, to also, fuel the body for this resting caloric rate. Because you burn calories just sitting still, but it's a low amount. So what we're going to do is you lower the carbs and your body will convert to, it's going to reach for those fat stores. Okay. Now, if you're a thin person and you don't have, you got 2% body fat or 5% body fat, so you say, well, my body's not going to utilize fat, I don't have it, then it's going to switch to protein. You got to figure the body is made up of amino acids. The brain, the heart, the lungs, skeletal tissue is made up of amino acids. Well, what is protein? Amino acids. So what I want to say is this. If you are an inactive person or you work out 3 times a week or less, no way in the world should you be consuming anything more than about 0.7 to 0.8 grams of protein per pound body weight. That's it. If you're in the middle and you work out about 3 to 4 days a week, you're pretty active, but not to the extreme, you still want to bump it up to about 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound body weight. If your body is elite, and I'm not saying elite in comparison to other people, but you're at an elite level to where you're constantly putting stress and strain on your body, you need a high level of protein to compensate that, because your body's pulling more calories. It requires more calories. For your system to function, it needs more nutrients. No way should it be under 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per pound body weight. If you're going to make sure you're utilizing enough protein to sustain muscle growth, grow, if you want to get progressive, and to progressively get stronger, progressively get more fit, progressively burn more fat. Because the more muscle you have, the more fat you burn. That's just a fact. That is what it is. So the idea that I want people to think of in all my diet videos I'm going to give in the future here is to switch your body's energy sources. Sometimes make it fat, sometimes make it protein. And on specific days when you're working out, you make it carbs. But you're making it carbs with the premise that your body's going to utilize all those carbs, not have the opportunity to store this fat. So in the future videos, we're going to talk about that. But as far as now, we're going to focus on protein. Okay. So we already talked about making your digestive system able to break down these proteins. So remember, you got to keep that the pH in your gut. Okay. Keep that positive bacteria. And that's the benefits of a probiotic. Probiotics are going to help that your positive and negative bacteria stay balanced. We want to make sure that your body is primed to absorb nutrients, because if it's not, then you're not going to absorb them and you can't utilize them. So what are you eating for? So we don't want to waste time. You don't waste time in the gym. I don't want you wasting time cooking. I don't want you wasting time, studying and doing trial and error. I'm giving you facts here. Okay. So great protein sources. What I would say is also protein sources take time to digest. They don't all digest equally. You got to remember that. There's a biological rating, which I wrote it down here. Hold on, give me one quick second of what the name is. There's an actual name for it, of the scale rating that they utilize to rate your protein's digestibility and bioavailability. Okay, and what that name is, hold on, give me a second, I'm coming. PDCAA. And what that means is Protein Digestibility Corrected Amino Acid Score. It's a scoring system, okay? And that tells you, and that's on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the highest, it means you digest the most at the highest rate. And the top things for that would be eggs. Eggs and beans are at the top of that list. They have a 1 rating, you know. They digest quickly. We're talking, 30 minutes tops. When I mean digest, convert, your body utilizes them, digest them through the villi and are in your bloodstream. That's what I'm talking about. So when you eat certain protein sources, it's determined by how it's absorbed, how fast it absorbs. So if I can go with like red meat, if I want to eat a steak might take my body 6 to 8 hours to digest. How can I consume any other food during that time frame if my body is focusing on liquefying that steak for 6 to 8 hours? So am I going to eat a steak for lunch? No, because then I'm not going to have time on a digestive standpoint to digest any other nutrient. So steaks, save for at nighttime. That's it. Or if you're going to get on a long flight, you're going to be, doing things the rest of the day, you don't have time to grab any food for 6 to 8 hours, then a steak is perfect. It'll stop you from being catabolic. But if you got a lot of meals to get in that day, a lot of calories to get in that day, you want some quick, digestive proteins and foods, your best things to go with are eggs. Number 2, I would say a light white fish, flounder, tilapia, mahi, orange roughy is fantastic, salmon is perfect. After that would be chicken, chicken and organic pork. It has to be organic because Lord knows what they do to this pork in this country. But in other places, it's good for you. Pork actually has a higher biological rating and more protein per ounce than chicken does if you get organic. So I would put chicken and pork on the same level, and then steak last. It takes forever to digest, but it's high in creatines, it's high in amino acids, and it is good for you. It does have a purpose. So I would eat red meat only at night. So there's some just basic examples of protein, but also I want you to know, like I said, it's not just for muscles. It's great for your heart. It's great for brain cells. It's great for cells in your heart. It's great for your bloodstream. Just getting amino acids everywhere, and especially if you're a person who has a disease, or anybody who has a disease of any level, and I mean AIDS, cancer, osteoporosis, things like that, you should be consuming a extremely high amount of protein per day, 2 grams per pound body weight. So you heard it from your boy here first, Big Lou. I'm about to get out of here, get back to work. Still working that 9 to 5 for now. Check out 412stillcitymuscle.com. I just got leggings in for you ladies, so you can be styling while you're in the gym, looking good. Like I said, we're putting Pittsburgh on the map, letting you guys know this is a place to learn, get educated, get in shape, and get healthy. So I want everybody to enjoy the rest of your day. Have a blessed day. Peace.